The worst episode of...
When you play the Game of Thrones, you win, or you die.
Smoking on top fives. Stop playing, I'm that guy.
Game of Thrones ended terribly. And there are many episodes that I could have chosen to be the worst episode of Game of Thrones. That episode where Daenerys goes sicko mode on King's Landing. The episode where Gendry runs back to Winterfell in order to save Jon Snow. Pretty much the majority of the episodes from season 7 and 8. But one episode in particular stands out. One of the underrated aspects of the earlier seasons of Game of Thrones was how they managed to have the battle preparation scenes feel real and also engaging. So much that it feels like you're a fly on the wall overhearing the plans.
Why am I here?
To help me plan the defense of King's Landing.
It helps make the battles feel more planned out and less, scripted. Other than the fact that these are some dope-ass character shots, is there a reason why these people are on the front lines? Also, this is kind of a weird one for me, but when I see Jorah now, he reminds me of old Batman from Titans. Not the best casting. So far in the episode, people are just staring into the looming darkness. There's no game plans going on, and I'm pretty sure they never had one in the first place. So Melisandre's character in this show is, I wouldn't say it was pointless, but like, what does she do in this show? Like, literally, what does she do? In this scene, you will see hundreds, if not thousands, of the Dothraki army disappear.
What they see is just the end of the Dothraki, essentially.
But like 2 episodes later, there's still hella Dothraki left. Maybe some of them ran away. Or maybe Daenerys looked at these soldiers as superfluous. Or maybe D&D kind of forgot.
Kind of forgot about...
The Night King is coming.
The dead are already here.
Some great dialogue in this scene. You guys ever saw World War Z? So in that movie, the zombies, in my opinion, were just too overpowered. Like, they're running at full speed, climbing walls. I'm only bringing that up because in this show, the White Walkers are pretty OP. And honestly, they should definitely kill more people. But as this episode goes on, you'll see that the White Walkers are kinda ass.
Take this and go.
I don't know how to use it.
Well, then I guess you're gonna die.
We're waiting.
After finishing season 1 of House of the Dragon, great show, by the way. You should definitely watch it. The dragon fights, specifically in this episode, feel extremely underwhelming. The Hound is running away from a fleet of White Walkers in this scene. Then Arya hits one of the walkers with an arrow, and this makes the Hound turn around and start fighting White Walkers. Other than the fact that this is supposed to be a cute little character moment for the Hound and Arya, how does that make any sense? Oh look, Melisandre's lighting more things on fire. Alright, this is just me nitpicking. I'm honestly being a dick. So if they were gonna set a ring of fire, right? Why didn't they just do that from the beginning?
We might see something everyone else is missing.
Wait a minute, Tyrion. Why are you guys in a crypt?
We're in a crypt. Nobody thought of that. He's bringing all the dead people back to life, and they put the women and children in a crypt with all the dead people.
Unfortunately, a lot of the characters in this show were ruined, and Tyrion's character in general becomes a big dumbass after like season 5 or 6.
Tyrion is smart, but I guess not that smart.
But in this season specifically, he's actually a terrible character.
Maybe we should have stayed married.
You were the best of them.
Well, considering the fact that Sansa was married to 2 serial killers with daddy issues, I'd say that isn't much of a compliment. You won't hear me say much about Bran's character in this episode, and that's because he literally does nothing important and barely speaks.
I'm going to go now.
Go where?
When I said now, I meant now. Ever since season 5, episode 8, I've been looking forward to seeing Jon Snow finally take on the Night King.
If you expect disappointment, then you can never really get disappointed.
The fighting in this episode is pretty hard to follow. The shaky cam is strong in this episode. But also, when shit's actually happening, there's never a time when one character is really focused on. Probably because there's no realistic way to really show these characters surviving through all these goddamn zombies. Get the fuck out of here. Arya is one of those characters who sucks all the tension out of thrilling scenes she's in, because there's never a single second where it feels like Arya will die. Amon is no one. Amon will not die under any circumstances. Arya is currently in a library surrounded by walkers. Oh my god, how's Arya gonna get out of this one?
Tiptoeing in my Jordan.
Oh, what in the Spider-Man is this? Lyanna was one of the most underrated characters in the entire series, and even though I don't like this episode, I appreciated how her character got some much-deserved spotlight. I do have to mention, though, that giant walker took a long-ass time to eat her. I could mention how Jaime shouldn't have survived this, or Jon shouldn't have survived that, but it gets a little redundant after a while. Oh my god, how will Daenerys survive this? Hey Jon, so tell us some attributes about the Night King. Like, what does he do? What is his, like, powers? Well, you know, the one time that I saw him, he actually lifted people up with his hands, like dead people, like the people that we were just on our side and everything like that. So, like, just be mindful of that he might bring back the dead. This is probably a great scene. I wish I could see it. I can almost excuse Jaime and Brienne for surviving through this fight. Honestly, pretty much anybody but Sam. Sam was never the best fighter. He spends his days reading books and getting silly with Gilly. But sure, he's still alive. In this entire 1.5 hour long episode, the Night King is probably on screen for like 7 minutes. Jorah comes from out of nowhere and saves Daenerys before dying like a simp. So I actually looked up if fire burns rocks, and according to a 5-second Google search, fire actually doesn't burn rocks. Still though, this is a motherfucking dragon. So if this dragon really wanted to kill Jon Snow, the same way dragons kill anything, it would probably go higher and breathe fire onto Jon Snow, rather than slowly, menacingly walk up to Jon Snow.
Shout out to Arya Stark for putting in that work last week. Hey.
Before I give my thoughts on this scene, let's see how D&D described this moment.
We hope to kind of avoid the expected, and Jon Snow has always been the hero, the one who's been the savior, but it just didn't seem right to us for this moment.
Subverting expectations is easy to do when you randomly just pick someone to kill the Night King. Theon could have killed the Night King. Daenerys could have. It doesn't really matter who kills the Night King if it's just a random out of nowhere moment. The problem with the Night King's death in this episode is, well, there's many problems. The Night King hasn't really been explored too much in this show, even though the White Walkers have been a looming threat since season 1.
I saw the White Walkers.
Then there's the whole point that Arya killing the Night King just makes zero sense. Not only because she has no connection to the Night King, but also, where the fuck did she come from? Why even show us the scene of Arya sneaking around if she can just spawn anywhere she fucking wants to? There's also the fact that the Night King doesn't do a damn thing in this entire episode. Like, if y'all knew this was gonna be his swan song, at least let him go out like Darth Maul or something, and not just have scenes of him standing there methodically. Ooh, he's fire resistant. But yeah, the Night King dies, the Walker dies, and this is how the episode ends, with Melisandre turning into dust. There's many reasons why I wholeheartedly believe that this is the worst Game of Thrones episode ever. After this point, I lost all faith in whatever ending this show was gonna have to offer. The White Walkers were just gone, and it just shouldn't have been the case. The entirety of Season 7 was based on getting a crew together to stop the White Walkers. The big threat of the North, winter is coming. The only reason Daenerys and Jon Snow even came into contact with each other was because of the White Walkers.
Thank you for traveling so far, my lord.
After Arya kills the White Walkers, the only thing that's worth giving a flying fuck about is the conflict between Cersei and everyone else. Obviously, until Daenerys kills a lot of people. It's an underwhelming way to end Game of Thrones, and this episode was the point of no return for me. I held out hope as long as I could. I tried. Also, I don't care what people say, this episode in general is just hard to follow because it's dark, scattered, and some scenes, characters look like they're dead, then 10 minutes later, they're miraculously just chilling in the corner. But just because Season 7 and Season 8 of Game of Thrones sucks, that doesn't mean I don't enjoy going back and still watching the earlier seasons.
But remember, the Queen mustn't know.
If you like this video, then like this video.
My watch is ended.
Don't be shy. Subscribe to that guy.